Yaw naman kayo sa inyong kapwa Pilipino.
Wala nga kayong isang proof na confidential funds yan.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. Ako po si Christian Esguera and welcome po sa ating Facts First episode ngayong araw po ng Miyerkules. Ngayon po ay May 6, 2026. We have a double header for tonight. Ito pong unang episode na napapanood nyo ngayon. This is recorded at exactly 6:45 in the evening today. No? By the time na napapanood nyo na po ito, alas 9 na po ng gabi. Tapos yung susunod po natin mamaya 9:30. That's a live episode. Okay? Abangan din po ninyo yun mamaya. Okay, dito po sa unang bahagi ng pag-uusapan natin. No? Pag-uusapan natin itong napipintong impeachment ni Vice President Sara Duterte because by all indications, dyan po sa House of Representatives, mukhang tinitingnan na lang kung lalampas pa sa 106 or gaano karami pa o higit pa sa 106 ang mga botong makukuha in support of impeaching the Vice President again. Okay? For this episode, magandang himayin natin. No? Kung sakaling umakyat yan sa Senado, yung articles of impeachment, which would likely be the case, no? Paano ba dapat i-prosecute dyan? Mahirap bang patunayan yung mga aligasyon base rin sa mga lumabas dyan sa House Justice Committee? So ito po yung pag-uusapan natin, makakasama po natin. Alam ko marami sa inyo nagre-request na invite natin siya na muli dito sa Facts First. So your wish is granted. We would like to welcome again to our program si Attorney Lorna Kapunan. Magandang gabi po and thank you for joining us dito po sa Facts First.
Thank you, Christian, and sa lahat ng millions of viewers and listeners mo.
Totoo po yan, no? Marami nag-request.
Always a delight to be with you.
Okay, salamat po. Konting konteksto lang, no? Si Attorney Lorna Kapunan, she was supposed to join the team of private prosecutors noong 19th Congress kung natuloy yung impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Tama po ba?
Tama po yun. Nag-volunteer po tayo last year. No? Na-abort niya. Parang feeling ko, hindi kami nanganak. Na-abort yung aming pregnancy.
Bitin, kasi alam ko naghahanda na kayo nun, di ba?
I know. Nagmamock trial na nga kami nun eh.
Talaga? Umabot na sa ganung level?
Yes, sa ganun level. In fact, well, I don't know if I can say this, pero pati yung itsura ng impeachment court, no? Saan nakaupo si presiding justice, saan nakaupo yung senators, saan. Because yun ang feel, you have to have the feel of the courtroom. No? Especially for public prosecutors who have no actual courtroom experience. So, sinimulate namin yun.
Okay. And then na-abort nga dahil nagkaroon ng reinterpretation si Jesus Escudero ng forthwith na umabot ng 4 na buwan. And of course, lumabas po yung desisyon ng Korte Suprema. Pero ito, most likely ba, or what are the chances that you would also still be part of the team of private prosecutors this time?
I think yung team namin last year buo pa eh. And I think it makes, it does make logical sense to tap all of the volunteer lawyers last year para kumonti yung learning curve. No?
Para hindi magsisimula from scratch, no? Kasi may familiarity na kayo doon sa mga most of the issues against the Vice President. Tama po ba?
Tama yun. And what was fortunate, what is a fortunate consequence of the delay, hindi nangyari sa 19th, nangyari sa 20th, mas magaling kasi lumabas ang evidence. Because you will recall last year, no? Diretso yan, no? From the House direct to the Senate. So hindi nagkaroon ng testing on what really are the evidence, testimonial, documentary. At nakita na naman natin sa Committee on Justice hearing na buo na. As I said in one of my interviews, had that been the actual trial in the Committee on Justice, clearly there would be a judgment of conviction already based on the existing evidence. Even without, miski na hindi buksan yung mahiwagang box na yan,
Yung ITR.
Yung ITR, yung BIR, miski na hindi summon yung bank records because they're AMLA records na and they're government records. So,
what makes you
Yeah.
Opo, what makes you say that? Na kasi binanggit din ng ibang mga miyembro ng House Justice Committee, sobra-sobra pa sa probable cause yung na-achieve based on the pieces of evidence that came out during those hearings. Pero sabi nyo, mukhang ano yan, kung yun na nga yung trial, sigurado, conviction yan. What made you say that?
Because of the official documents, last year, because direct referral yan by more than a third vote, there was no opportunity to summon witnesses. There was no opportunity to subpoena documents. That would have happened for the first time in the Senate. Pero ngayon, because of, I think, 6 na hearings dyan sa Committee on Justice, talagang linantad na. Nakita ang mga documents, authentic documents or authenticated documents which would support the ultimate facts. Kasi sinasabi ng defense, wala naman ultimate facts. I-distinguish natin, iba yung ultimate facts, iba yung evidentiary facts. And sa Committee on Justice hearings, pati evidentiary facts lumabas na, in support of the ultimate facts sa complaint. So, yun ang fortunate consequence na delay ng 1 year, itong impeachment process. Kasi
Example po,
Yes.
Okay, para din sa mga hindi familiar, sabi nyo, lumabas na rin yung evidentiary facts doon sa
Correct.
pagdinig pa lang ng House Justice Committee. Example po.
Example, yung allegation ng misuse of confidential funds. Ngayon, meron ng findings ang COA, and more than the findings of the COA on the disallowance, meron ng finality on the disallowance. In addition to that, hindi lang isa, may additional 3 na disallowance. And then nabuo. Meron ng nabuong testimony ang Philippine Statistics Office, which we did not have last year. The testimony of the people from yung forensic study ng mga signatures. We did not have that last year. That would have been subpoenaed in the Senate trial. Yung issue ng AMLA, we also did not have that last year. That would have been subject of a subpoena. The AMLA, which is a recordal of the bank transactions for 19 to 20 years. So lahat yan lumabas in this. And on top of that, yung testimony ng isang Trillanes who was confirmed, validated by the AMLAC report 10 years after he filed the plunder complaint. So maraming nangyari in the Committee on Justice hearing. And as a matter of fact, dapat pagdating ng Senate investigate o Senate trial, we would suggest a pre-trial. Kasi matagal, masyadong maraming documents. It would be nice to pre-mark kasi baka mawala ng interest ng mga viewers kung ang makikita lang nila is marking of documents or marking
Boring
of
yun.
Boring yun. So dapat may pre-marking.
Actually,
Yes.
sorry po, nung kausap ko si Senate President Tito Soto last week, sabi niya definitely magkakaroon ng pre-trial kung umakyat yan sa kanila. Precisely the reasons that you cited. You also cited.
Welcome yun. That's a welcome development because last year kasi we even went to the extent of thinking that it would go into trial. We went to the extent of proposing amendments to the Senate rules on impeachment. At sinama namin doon yung pre-trial for speedier presentation of evidence. And I think dininay yun. Dininay, I think by then I might be guessing, but we were told that the Senate then denied an amendment of the Senate rules to include pre-trial. Ngayon, the advantage of a pre-trial is we will know what the defense evidence is. They will be required now to say, these are our exhibits, these are our documents, these are our witnesses, these are our experts. Required yan sa pre-trial. And if we follow the rules of court, pag hindi ka submit to pre-trial or submit a pre-trial brief, you will be declared as in default. Miski na mag-file sila ng answer. Let's say they will file an answer because, Christian, part of the Senate rules as it exists now is meron silang 10 days to file an answer, non-extendable, and merong 5 days to file a reply. Non-extendable rin yun. So even if they file an answer, but if there is a pre-trial and hindi sila mag-submit ng pre-trial brief, sasabihin nila, we will present our evidence in due course. That's a waiver. And they will be considered as in default. No?
Yung ganilang strategy dyan po sa level ng House, yung pagsagot previously pero ad cautelam, pwede pa rin po ba nilang gamitin yun kung sakaling mag-convene na yung Senado as an impeachment court?
Ang hinihintay natin mangyari because wala namang restraining order. Ano?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, yung deadline to file comments was only 2 or 3 days ago. May deadline ang House, may deadline ang mga private complainants to file their comments to the petition ng VP Sara. No? And curiously enough, sinama nila ang Senate President. Hindi natin alam bakit kasama na respondent sa petition sa Supreme Court ang Senate President. Baka naman ginagamit nila to say na, kasi mutan academic na yung issue ng due process in the House Committee on Justice. No? That has become mooted by the completion. You cannot restrain something that has been completed. So dead na yung argument na yan. Kaya lang meron pang a live argument. They might say that meron pa kaming pending respondent dito. Ang pending petition against another respondent, the Senate President. Tanong natin, bakit nila sinama ang Senate President? Yung kamalay-malay ni Tito Sen ng Senate President sa House impeachment process. No? So that could be again used. Kasi lawyers can be creative eh. Sabihin nila, we just file the comments. Pero, Christian, we must remember that the Supreme Court was quick to say, this does not mean we are giving due course. Ibig sabihin, hindi naman namin sinasabi na may merito ang petition. We want to find out from the comments that will be filed kung talagang meritorious ang petition. Again, they will say it is not ripe. It is not ripe. The Supreme Court has not given its finding. Kasasubmit lang ng mga comment ng mga parties, ngayon magta-trial na tayo.
So mukhang nakikita niyo dyan yung strategy na pati yung proseso sa Senado, most likely pipigilan din nila para hindi mangyari.
Yes. It may not come from the defense lawyers. It may come from the sitting senators. She has allies. The Vice President has allies. And if they are wanting to try to delay, kasi mahirap i-delay na to, klarong-klaro yung due process, klarong-klaro yung jurisdiction na ng Senate. And
at saka sinunod na yung sinabi ng Supreme Court based on their petition last year.
Correct. That is so correct. No? Sinunod to the letter and the spirit and letter. Lahat ng sinabi ng Supreme Court sa Duterte case, so wala silang pwedeng sabihin about the proceedings in the House.
Nabanggit niya yan, dahil marami rin namang kaalyado pa rin itong si Vice President Sara Duterte from among the senators na incidentally uupo bilang mga senator judges kung mag-convene sila sa impeachment court. And some of them have been quite vocal about their biases. Hindi po ba? Kasama dyan sina Amy Marcos, itong sina Honorable Senator Robin Hood Padilla na sinabi niya ang trabaho raw o papel ng oposisyon ay mag-oppose at mukha raw i-oppose nila itong pagko-convene ng Senado bilang isang impeachment court. Yung ganyan, how do you tackle something like that? Na on face value, napaka-obvious naman na mali dahil Senator Judge ka, bakit yan ang magiging actuation mo kung sakasakali?
Alam mo, Christian, one of the first things, sundan lang natin yung proseso sa Senate. No? When it is transmitted to the Senate, it is received by the Senate President, who informs the House, we have received it. And then he will now convene immediately, according to him, he will now convene the impeachment court. One of the things that the impeachment court must do before they even approve the rules, kasi kailangan i-approve yung rules ng Senate impeachment court, no? To take an oath. Anong nakalagay sa oath, no? If we are to follow these existing rules, the oath says in no uncertain terms that the senator judges must act with political neutrality. Nakalagay doon. Meaning, no discrimination as regards party affiliation, etc. No? Hindi lang yan. In their actual oath, they say, they commit themselves to dispense impartial justice in accordance with the Constitution and the rules on evidence and the applicable rules. No? So dalawa yan. Political neutrality and impartial justice. Ang problema, if this were an ordinary court, pag nakikita na yung bias niyan, sa ordinary court, pwede mag-file ng inhibition ang counsel. No? Kung may bias, no? Hindi natin alam kung pwedeng gawin ito. Because it can work both ways, no? Sasabihin ng mga pro-Duterte, why are you claiming that we are biased? Meron rin dito mga senador na biased din against the vice president. They will probably point out the likes of Risa Ontiveros, the likes of Bam Aquino, Kiko Pangilinan, those who have been very vocal.
Pero in fairness, hindi man sila nagko-comment ng ganon to that effect. In fairness to them.
That is correct because I think even if we were to give them the benefit of the doubt, mahirap kasi. If you were to look at the evidence alone, mahirap. And mahirap bumoto ng against the impeachment, against the conviction. Because they would be voting against their own self-interest na. Sila na ang i-judge ng taong bayan. Kung ang mga nanonood ng mga those who watch the impeachment proceedings in the House, na-convince na. Kanya nakita sa latest survey na bumaba ang results ng isang Vice President, Sara. No? Perhaps because she did not appear in the House Committee on Justice. So ang taong bayan nakikinig na at nanonood na ng mga ebidensya dyan. So in the end, the senator judges who will vote based on their own bias and their proclaimed loyalty to the vice president or to the father of the vice president, they themselves will be judged by the people. Re-electionist yung iba dyan. Or some of them would like to seek higher office. No? So,
Ito, balik ako yung sinabi nyo kanina, no? Na base rin sa mga lumabas na ebidensya dun sa House Justice Committee hearings or impeachment hearings, talagang makukonvict itong si Vice President Sara Duterte. So kung sakaling magkaroon nga ng trial, kung pagbabasihan lang talaga ebidensya, dapat makonvict siya sa Senado.
Correct. Because kung sa korte kasi, there are many kinds of evidence. No? But ang mabigat na evidence is, number one, direct evidence. Direct testimony. No? Anong ibig sabihin ng direct testimony? Yung isang secretary, one of them who received an envelope, yung bribe, direct testimony yun. Kung paniniwalaan natin ang isang Madriaga, yung nag-deliver ng duffel bag, that is a direct testimony. Versus when Attorney Poe was being interviewed, mukhang hindi direct evidence sila. When he was asked, why did the Vice President bakit nilagay ng Vice President none yung cash in hand and in banks for the last 6 years? It is telling na ang sagot ni Attorney Poe is, we were told, according to the Vice President, we were told, pag hindi sumipot ang Vice President, and it is a scenario, she will probably answer, but she will not be there. So if she's not there, whatever Attorney Poe says will be hearsay evidence. Kasi hindi pwedeng sinabi sa akin. That is hearsay evidence versus direct testimony. Tapos yung mga bank records. Kunyari, bank records na pinakita sa house, no? Authenticated yan. Authentic and authenticated. Authentic because they are official records from a government agency. Authenticated because pinakita nila yung process, yung chain of custody, no? Yung chain of custody ng evidence. Kagaya ng mga videos na pinisend. Pinakita nila ng NBI na hindi naman spliced yung pinakita nilang ano. Wala naman nag-interfere na private individual para i-cut yung mga videos na yan. Ano. The same videos that they're using now in a sedition case, an NBI case, on the same grounds, assassination, direct threat, hiring of an assassin, may pending criminal investigation ng NBI. And that is the same evidence they're using. Yun ang mabigat rin na evidence, no? Authentic records. If the Vice President does not appear and is not able to produce bank records or authentic records, anong weight ng evidence na yun? Meron ring mabigat na evidence which is forensic evidence. No?
Isa signatures.
Forensic evidence, the signatures, the bank accounts. Ano ang ilalaban nila dyan? So, in terms of the quality of the evidence versus hearsay versus unauthenticated documents, also yung expert witnesses, no? May expert witnesses on the side of the prosecution. Pag hindi siya nag-present ng expert witness, medyo mahirap ang defense. And if that is so obvious, and despite the weakness of the defense, bumoto pa rin for acquittal ang mga allies niya sa Senate, sila na ang i-judge ng taong bayan. And worse, if she's not disqualified and she runs for the presidency in 2028 at nanalo pa yan, sinong may kasalanan? Hindi tayong may kasalanan. Kasi if she wins, it is now on the people, it is not on her allies in the House, in the Senate. Tayo na may kasalanan.
How about yung resignation? Do you think that should be seen as a viable option or way out for the Vice President, given the weight of evidence that you're talking about?
She may resign, ano? But the effect, iba ang resignation. Ano? When you resign, then you are no longer a sitting Vice President. But remember, this is an impeachment case. An impeachment case has two penalties. The first penalty is removal from her office. But if she already has resigned, wala na yung removal. But there is a second penalty, which is permanent disqualification to run for any public office. So even if she resigns, her resignation will not stop the proceedings. Itutuloy pa dapat rin yan because they still have to determine if convicted, the Vice President cannot run. So resignation will not cure her problems.
Okay. Pero that's one school of thought, no? Meron kasing nag-argue rin na sinasabi, hindi na dapat ituloy. I think they're citing the case of former Ombudsman Merceditas Gutierrez, who resigned before Senate could hold trial. Is timing key in a possible resignation? So kunwari, nakapag-convene na, tsaka nag-resign, ano mangyari? Or nag-resign, pero hindi pa nakapag-convene yung Senado as an impeachment court.
Timing is very key because, for instance, in the case of Chairman Bautista, in the case of Mercedita, it did not proceed into actual proceedings in the House. There was no sufficient informant substance. Hindi dumaan ng sufficiency informant substance yung kanilang impeachment complaints sa House. They resigned at the stage of the House impeachment proceedings.
Maaga
Kasi
pa,
yung
in short.
iba naman ngayon, ano? Because nakatawid na yan sa House. So in other words, they cannot compare apples and oranges. Yung kay Chairman Bautista, Mercedita, hindi naman nag-prosper yung complaint sa House mismo. So in other words, hindi na-initiate ang impeachment complaint. Walang finding as to sufficiency in form, walang finding as to sufficiency in substance, and more so, walang probable cause. Even before that all happened, nag-resign na yung dalawa. So,
Pero kung paano kung na-transmit na ng House yung articles of impeachment, natanggap na ng Senado, tapos dun siya nag-resign, pero hindi pa nagko-convene yung Senate as an impeachment court?
She can resign, but she will still be... She can resign, but the case will still proceed. Because the defense team will have to answer the allegation of why she should not be disqualified for running for any public position. Hindi na material kung nag-resign siya even before the actual trial starts. Ang sasagutin pa rin ng defense, hindi na yung why she should be removed. Ang sasagutin nila is why she should not be able to run for any public position, whether in 2028 or even as barangay captain. Because that is the public position.
Puntahan ko lang po ilang mga glaring na lumabas laban sa Vice Presidente doon sa impeachment hearings. Example yung others, no? So until 2018, nagde-declare siya ng separate items for cash on hand and in bank sa kanyang mga salin. Pero 2019 until 2024, if I'm not mistaken, biglang zero. Okay? Wala yung ganong item. Ang paliwanag o palusot ni Attorney Michael Poa na binanggit nyo kanina, ayon daw sa kliyente niya, the Vice President, nilamp daw yon doon sa others. I mean, kayo ang tagal niyo na abogado, no? Anong tingin niyo rin sa paliwanag na yon?
Lusot. Palusot yan because, as I said, simple arithmetic yan. Miski na linamp mo sa others, you add it all up, whether it's in the column of cash in banks, whether it's in the column of others, it will not add up to 6.77 billion, nor will it add up to 88 million. Ano ba ang salary ng isang vice president? Based on recent information, ang salary ng isang vice president is only 4 million. 4 million plus, no?
A year?
A year. The salary when she was vice mayor or mayor was less than $1 million. You add all of it up from 2019, for the last 19 years, it will not add up to the big billions in figures. No? Yung 88 million na yan reflects her salary for 28 years. For 19 to 20 years. Sabihan natin na linagay sa others. Dapat magtugma pa rin. Hindi bumabalanse because if you put it in the column of others instead of the column of banks, it should still come out to 88 million. Ang nangyari dyan, sinabi niya, well, hindi mag-a-add up yan because yung income naman niya, hindi naman galing sa sweldo niya, galing sa businesses niya. And the SEC was there. They produced the records, the GIS, financial statements of 12 to 14 companies where she allegedly had business interests. Anong nangyari? Pinakita ng SEC representative, lahat ng company ay lugi, except for one, which made a gross revenue of less than $1 million. So, if it is not from salary, and it is not from businesses, and it is not from investment, where did it come from? Kanya ang heading yan is unexplained wealth. Dalawa yan, failure to disclose and or unexplained wealth. On both counts, sabit siya.
At saka yun nga, dahil dun sa naging paglilitis din kay Chief Justice Renato Corona pagdating sa SALN, mukhang hindi naman ganun kahirap kung ipoprosecute ito sa impeachment trial kahit malaking bahagi dyan yung politika. Lalabi ko, kumpara nyo dyan ano yung nasa SALN niya at ano yung mga nakita. At pag wala, hindi ba napakasimpleng determination nun?
Evidence lang yan eh. Hindi na nga kailangan ng abogado dyan eh. Kailangan lang nakakaintindi ng addition, subtraction. Kasi pag inad mo lahat, hindi naman tutugma sa dineclare. Ibig sabihin, non-declared. No? Hindi dineclare. Bakit kasama yung asawa? Asawa mo yan eh. Unless hindi mo na asawa, it is conjugal. And if it is conjugal and it comes from the business, the law firm business of the husband, saan ang declaration ng income of the law firm? No? Wala rin income yung law firm na yan. Hindi naman dinideclare na yan. So, how do you explain it? Trillanes explain it by saying, ilgatin yan eh. Ilgatin yan. Kasama dyan yung binibigay ng from drug money or from Pogo money. But that's another story. But yung random accounts na pinili ni Sec Laila from the Trillanes affidavit and the annexes thereto, swak na swak sa AMLA report on suspicious and covered transactions. So how can you falsify to the last centavo?
Okay, bilang panghuli po, no, sabi nyo last year, nag-simulate na kayo ng mga scenarios, pati yung courtroom scenarios, talagang tinignan ninyo na po. Ano. Pero dito, no, base rin sa mga lumabas po rin sa House Justice Committee, if you were to entertain certain possibilities as to how the Vice President could extricate herself from this situation or quagmire, meron po ba kayo naiisip na malulusutan o maipapaliwanag niya itong mga allegation na ito?
She will use extralegal. She's using now her troll armies. She's not changing the narrative. She's using her allies. She even has a battalion of legal experts who are espousing contrary views to what is clearly stated in the Constitution. Gagamit lahat yan. But all of this would be extralegal. In fact, if you're talking extralegal, you're probably talking about resort to promises, no? No, this is pure speculation, short of being libelous. Baka ipapromise niya na if I win, if you acquit me and I win as president, I will make you Secretary of Justice. Or if I win, I will make you my vice president. Or if I win, I will, all of these things, no? These are extra legal considerations, no? Because I don't see her acquitting herself based on the strength. Ito naman ang sabi ng mga lawyers. We in litigation say the case will sink or swim depending on the evidence, and the prosecution must rely on the strength of its case and not on the weakness of the defense. Ngayon, it is both. It is not only the strength of the prosecution evidence or the strength of the evidence from the House. It also is based on the weakness of evidence or lack of evidence thus far of the Vice President. Kanya kailangan natin ang pre-trial at kailangan natin ang trial brief. Meron ba talaga kayong mga evidence? Kasi kung hearsay lahat yan, o kung hindi naman sila mag-produce ng records, that would be an absolute waste of public resources. When ang mangyayari lang dyan, instead of evidence, magiging debate. It will be a debate between the allies and the non-allies. It will be debate, magiging pagandahan na lang ng rhetoric, pagandahan na lang ng speech because they will try to make noise to drown the silence of lack of evidence. Yan ang mangyayari dyan. It will be a gymnastics of sorts. Wasting the people's money and wasting the people's time.
Okay. O sige po, Attorney Lorna Kapunan, maraming salamat po for joining us tonight dito po sa Facts First. Abangan namin kung magiging officially kasama kayo muli doon sa team of private prosecutors.
Maraming salamat po.
Okay,
And mabuhay ka. Thank you.
Salamat po. Yan po, si Attorney Lorna Kapunan. Ayan wish granted. Ang dami nagme-message sa akin. I-guess daw natin si Attorney Lorna Kapunan. Okay, yan na. Okay, pero tingin ko magiging bahagi siya ng team of private prosecutors pag na-formalize na yan eventually. Okay, paalam po muna tayo, no? Susunod po yung ating live episode with NBI Director Melvin Matibag. Ako po si Christian Esguerra. Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat.